Hello friends, welcome to my channel, Bad Decisions and Pure Awkwardness. I'm your host, Elizabeth. Today I'm drinking, same thing I was drinking in my last video. It's this one. It's a Sauvignon Blanc. I almost got it finished. It's delicious. Nice and fruity and doesn't really taste like it's Sauvignon Blanc. It's good. If you want to know what happened to my face, my teeth, check out my last video. I talked about it in there. Basically, I had an accident. I've had a lot of dental work. That's what you're going to see for a little while now. So, today we're going to be talking about my top used palettes of 2022. I'm doing it this way because I have a spreadsheet that I track all of my makeup on, what I use, when I use it, when something comes into my collection, that kind of thing. I've found that it really helps me be accountable for what I'm using, how often I'm using it again, and it really puts in perspective if I need to get rid of something or if something's just not appealing to me anymore. So I have 12 palettes here. 3 are tied for, I guess, 10th place. So I used 3 of them 8 times. So that tells you, kind of puts you where it's a starting line of where how often I used other palettes. And the last one I used significantly more than the others. So that just kind of tells you how often I use these palettes. And I thought that was a better way of really gauging how much I really liked a palette or not. Some of these palettes are old, some of these palettes are newer, but all of them I love, and I'll probably continue to dig into them this year. So I'll get started. The first 3 that are tied for 10th place of my most used palettes, I used them 8 times, is first Fall Magic by Unearthly Cosmetics. It's my only Unearthly palette. We have Odin's Eye and Annette's Makeup Corner, Giant Wolves. And we have the Odin's Eye Red Dragon palette with Judy, in collaboration with Judy. So all very different palettes. I'll show you. This one is a fun neutral palette, but it's got lots of pops of color, which I like. So if you like a neutral palette, I think I have a video on this one. You're gonna really enjoy this one. You can see the shifty shades in these. You're gonna see a theme in all of these palettes where I enjoy shifty shimmers and just shimmers in general. But this one especially has one of my favorites, Leaves. You can just see how pretty that is right there. I'm gonna swatch these on my hand for now. I mean, it's got shifts of purple and gold and green. Right there you can kind of see the purple. It's a really unique, I guess this is a multi-chrome. Is it a multi-chrome or a duochrome? I don't know. Either way, it's beautiful and it's very unique to my collection. It's a unique color story to my collection as well. They did a really good job of capturing fall in a unique way. It's not just your basic orange, red, green color story. It's got beautiful, vibrant purples and greens, and I just really love that palette. One that surprised me this year is the Red Dragon palette from Odin's Eye and Judy. It looks like this. It is very neutral. I don't have too many neutral palettes. I tend to go more for color, but this is another kind of neutral spin on, colorful spin on a neutral palette. You've got your bright red, you've got these beautiful shifty shades. Like Solar Flare is a shifty kind of duochrome. Luna, I believe, is the multi-chrome in this palette. And it is like a green, red, gold multi-chrome. I don't know if you can really see it on camera, but in person I see green. It's a stunning shade and it looks so vibrant on the eyes. I wore this palette on a couple dates, same guy. I don't know if that's like good luck or bad luck, but I thought it looked really good, and I'm really happy to have this in my collection. Again, just such a surprise hit for me. The next one is Giant Wolves, and this one I knew I was gonna like just because, I mean, come on, this is like heaven. I think the most, the shade that like really popped out at me was this one. I'm a sucker for like blues like this, like almost kind of periwinkle blues. And the multi-chrome in this one is Eternal. It's this one down here. And you can see I've got quite a dip in that one. So obviously I'm loving it. And this one is like a blue, purple, green, gold multi-chrome. Just so beautiful. It's pretty over dark colors. It's pretty on its own. This palette's really versatile. You get really smoky, deep looks with this, but you can also go kind of neutral with this one as well. So I really enjoy this palette. I enjoy all these palettes. Number 9 is a palette that I actually won in a giveaway, and I can't believe I won it. I have a video on this one too. I don't win anything, and this was like such a shock to me. I actually responded when they tagged me on Instagram. I actually responded, "Is this real life?" And they said, "Yes, it is." And I was so excited because I never win anything, and I wanted this palette so bad, but I didn't have the money to spend on it. And that is the Ice Beauté Tropical Vibes palette. You hear something in the background, it's waffles. And this is like a grungy green dream. I just think this is so beautiful. This is a matte heavy palette, which normally I don't gravitate to, but something about this green color story really grabbed me. I think it's unique. You've got these grungy oranges, you've got the grungy army greens, but then you've got these pops of like the blue and the gold and the yellow. I just think it's such a cool, fun color story that you can take it in for a variety of ways. If I think of it, I'll pop some pictures up of the looks I've done with these palettes. Number 8 is one of my all-time favorites. It is a palette that I've had in my collection for a couple years now, so it looks a little beat up, but it is the Ice Cream Dream palette from Glamlight. Now, this palette I was not sure about at first because it is a pastel palette, but as you can see, it's a pastel palette with lots of deep dark shades and lots of shimmers, and the shimmers in this palette are just so beautiful. I've hit pan on this shade right here. I've hit pan on this shade right here, the strawberry shade. I've got quite a few dips in these 3 colors here, and I've used it for Halloween. I've used it for other people's makeup. There's a lot you can do with this palette. And every time I think like, I just want like a soft, light kind of, pastel kind of look, I definitely pick this palette. It's one of my favorites of all time. Number 7 is a palette that I wasn't gonna buy again, and it also surprised me. It's another kind of neutral palette. It is the Wilderness palette by Beauty Bay, and as you can see, it is well loved. As you can see, the shimmers in here I've dipped into quite a bit. I've got some dips in the greens and this lighter shade up here. Anytime I want like a Valentine's look, I want a red look, I pick this palette up because it has some of the best reds. This is like a true red, which you don't find too often in makeup. A lot of times reds pull very pink or very purple or very berry, and this is like a true red, and I really love that about this palette. The greens in here are beautiful. The blues I've created good looks with. Really just a really fun palette to play with, and I'm happy it's in my collection. Number 6, another I'm gonna say this about every one of these palettes, but that's another favorite. And I knew I was gonna like this palette because it's a green palette, and I tend to really gravitate towards green palettes a lot. It is the Dirty Martini palette from Glamlight. Again, you've got grungy greens, you've got teals, you've got emerald, you've got bright, vibrant greens, but then you have these incredible shimmers, like these unexpected shimmers, like Chilled is such a unique color, and then Olive Lover. I wore this to a wedding, and I had a multi-chrome on my eyes as well, but I got so many compliments on my eye look. It was all mattes from that palette, so it was mostly this palette doing the work, and I think it's one of the most beautiful palettes I own in my collection. This one, please excuse because my cat got a hold of it, so it's a little messed up on the front, but it is the Heather Austin palette from Adept. And this one, it's the first time I tried Adept. I bought this and the Plain Jane Remastered palette at the same time, and I was so impressed with these shimmers. The mattes are good, but the shimmers are really where they just blow you away. Austin, and you have to kind of be careful because they're very mobile in the pan, but Austin, Smith, I think these are the multi-chromes in this palette. And Scrubs. Scrubs has a huge dip in it. But those are the 3 that I love. Especially, oh my gosh, that Smith shade is just like yellow and green and yummy. Ugh, and look how shiny those are. Like, they just, ugh, I could eat them. But really, like, this palette reminds me of fall a lot. I think I did a fall palette, or I don't know if I actually posted it or not, but I meant to do a fall palettes video, and this would be in it because of how deep and dark it goes. But then and then these, like this gold and this or this orange color, the yellow, the green. I've created some really unique looks with this, and unexpected looks where I would pair certain colors together and just kind of like see what would happen, and it looked really good. So there's really no way you can go wrong with that palette. Even if you just use one of the shimmers on your eye, you're gonna have a beautiful look. So I'm glad I have that palette in my collection. And I'm happy to support a YouTuber, and a cool YouTuber, not somebody who's a jerk. Apparently, I really like neutrals more than I thought. And that is because this one was number 4 on my list of most used palettes. Now, I use this palette daily because I use it for my eyebrows, just because I have a hard time finding eyebrow colors eyebrow products that match my hair. They're either too dark or they're too light or too bright. Like nothing's ever brown and red at the same time and gives me the depth that I want at the same time. So I found that there are two shades in here that I really like. But besides that, I've used it outside of using it for my eyebrows. So that is the Chocolate Martini palette from Glamlight. As you can see, again, lots of dips in this. This color and this color are the two that I use for my eyebrows. So you're gonna see dips in those, but you're gonna see dips in this one here, use out of this one quite a bit, and especially this one, Vanilla Vodka. They're just beautiful shades. Glamlight shimmers are insanely beautiful. There's this weird purpley blue in this palette too, which kind of gives it like a unique flavor, and it really like spices this palette up quite a bit. But they're so shiny and shifty, and I can't believe that I have so much love for a neutral palette. Like I said, I don't have very many neutral palettes in my collection, but when I do think about making a neutral look, I generally pick up this palette. Number three goes to my other Adept palette that I tried this year, and that is the Plain Jane Remastered palette. Now, I have used this palette in many ways. I have used it on its own, but mostly as a companion palette, using 2-3 shades with another palette for the mattes. This is an all shimmer palette. Again, not something that I ever expected to like, but it grew on me. I have to say that these are some of the most shiny eyeshadows I've ever seen. Let's see, which ones do we want to try? We'll do ACI 10 for sure. I do ACI 7 quite a bit. And ACI 6. And what the heck, ACI 5 too. They're just so metallic and sparkly and shifty. I have taken this traveling. It's great to travel with if you want something that, if you don't want to carry a bunch of like single shadows, which generally like I'll take 1 or 2 palettes with me when I travel. If I'm traveling like for a week, I'll carry 1 or 2 palettes. Like I'll carry a colorful palette, and then I'll carry a neutral palette, and then I'll carry some singles, but a lot of times I'll just carry this, and this is enough for me. It has everything I want, and I can spice up my look with just this palette, and I love it. Next one is another collab. You're gonna see a theme in this video that I really like a certain brand, and that is Odin's Eye. I bought this palette. It is Odin's Eye Angelica Nyqvist, the Hella palette. It looks like this. I think the artwork is so beautiful, but then the color story is something very unique to me. I've used it quite a bit because it's my number 2 palette, but it's got this great multi-chrome in it called double-sided, but then also this duochromed called River. That's very unexpected. And another shimmer called Hellfire that goes with like just about everything. And you can see, look at that shift on double-sided. It is just so beautiful. And that River is just so unique. This palette is really fun in the spring. It really takes me outside of my comfort zone, and it forced me to play with like greens and pinks together, which I probably normally wouldn't do, but I had a lot of fun with this palette. I've done all pink looks, I've done all green looks, I've done grungy looks, I've done all kinds of things, and this double-sided will literally go with everything. It'll go with the pinks, it'll go with the greens. She did a really good job of curating this palette, and that's why it's number 2 in my collection right now. Like I said before, you're gonna see a theme that I really like Odin's Eye. I would say right now, it is my favorite brand. If I were to ever do a collab, which that would be like a dream come true, I would want it to be with Odin's Eye, because I think their vision is so creative. They have such cool artwork, great color stories. As Lauren May Beauty would say, the vision is there. The fantasy is there, you know? And I picked up the Salmon 2 palette this year, and I have a video on this one. And this is what it looks like. I've already hit pan on one of the shadows, and that is Soft Cloud Shadow. Is that nice blue shade. I've done so much with this palette. You can see a dip in Dream as well. A huge dip in Starry Sky. Some dips in Galaxy and Hallucinations. And Solar and Warm Light. Pretty much all of these shadows I use quite a bit. And this black is a great black to deepen things up. I love this palette. I don't normally gravitate towards like a basic, I guess, what do you call it, rainbow kind of color story. But this is a rainbow done right, in my opinion. You've got deep shades, you've got, it's not just Roy G. Biv on a palette. It's pastels, it's brights, it's lights, it's deep, dark, grungy colors, it's beautiful shimmers. Are there any special shades in here like duochromes or multichromes? No, but these shimmers are so sparkly. They're everything you need. I'll swatch Starry Sky and Deep Space because it's calling to me right now, and Hallucinations. And again, just so metallic and beautiful. Just beautiful shades. And I'm really happy that I have this in my collection. I'm not mad about it at all. And I'm happy that it's number 1. Every time I want like a big, bold, bright, colorful look, I go to that palette. And there aren't very many palettes in my collection that I can say that about, where I'm like, every shade in there is bold and beautiful and bright, and I just have so much fun creating it. It really takes me outside my comfort zone, but I can also do monochromatic looks if I want to, and so that's why it's number 1. So what can I say? I love it. Okay folks, those are my top 10 most used palettes of 2022. I plan on doing this with some of my other pieces of my collection, like my blushes and my highlighters and my single shadows, so look out for those videos too. They might not be coming straight away, but just keep looking out for them. They'll be around. Anyway, I hope you have a good day. Make sure you like, subscribe, and do all the things I'm supposed to ask you to do to get you to watch my videos. And thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Okay, bye.